afternoon and a warm welcome to all our viewers. My name is Prayag Gavankar.
And my name is Gaurav Tiwari. We have an exclusive webinar just for you called Investonomics.
In today's webinar, we will be covering a certain topic in the mutual fund industry, namely
Systematic Investment Plan, also known as SIP, along with its benefit, especially pointing towards it,
power of compounding and other benefits of staying invested and no need to time the market investment strategy.
Today's episode will be hosted by our very own Mr. Navneet Kandok, Vice President and Head of North Region.
Alongside, we have a very special guest speaker, Mr. S. Naren, Executive Director and Chief Investment Officer of our group company ICICI Prudential AMC, who also manages headlining funds such as Balance Advantage.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for an immersive conversation between the dynamic duo. Over to you, Navneet sir.
So hello everyone, I'm Navneet this side, your host for the day. And it's always a pleasure to have Mr. Naren on call today. Again, one important day. We have a lot of series of things going on of late. We started sometime back with COVID and now with this Ukraine and Russia war. I think before we go for all type of investors, questions which every investors have in their mind, I would like to ask you, Mr. Naren, how do you look at the market today in light of Ukraine and Russia war and rising oil and interest rate environment?
Actually, we have multiple reasons for volatility. The biggest reason for volatility is actually the US Federal Reserve increasing interest rates. And in end November 2021, they came and said that we are going to increase interest rates because inflation is not transitory. And we believe that we have to increase interest rates. Later, consecutively, they've been saying that we are not only going to increase interest rates, we are going to pull out liquidity from the market through something called as quantitative tightening. The number of times that they are going to increase interest rates and the quantum of interest rate increase is also increasing every month. What this means is we're going to have volatility. Along with this, now you have the Russia-Ukraine war, which has resulted in oil going up, many commodity prices going up like palm oil, wheat, sunflower oil, etc. So we have inflation of so many products going up, which also adds to volatility. So we have a situation where the next 12 to 18 months, we have a fair amount of volatility in the markets, driven by multiple factors, and that would mean that we are going to be in a very interesting phase where interest rates are going to go up, volatility in equity markets are going up, and that actually makes it good for a long-term investor. But for a short-term trader, it makes it very difficult because contrary to what people believe, for a long-term investor, a volatile environment and markets going down is possibly superior than having a situation where markets are just going up one way, like what we saw in 2020 and 21. We think that the next 12 to 18 months is going to be a period where markets are going to be pretty volatile. Will it be only one way downward? I don't think so. We think that it is going to be upward, downward, all kinds of frameworks. And that is a kind of situation. Does it change the structural India growth story? Certainly not. In fact, Russia has become uninvestable. China has had a lot of structural problems that many people don't want to invest there. Brazil has always been structurally a difficult country to invest. So if you take the old acronym called BRIC, people are more comfortable with India than with the other countries. So the long-term structural story remains, although the near-term remains volatile. That's how we look at it. And so we believe in higher interest rates and a volatile equity markets.
So I think very interesting thing in current market scenario when you say it will be volatile. So how SIP is positioned today as an investment tool?
Actually, SIPs are meant for volatile markets. What does a systematic investment plan do? You put a sum of money to work. If the market goes down, you get more units of mutual fund. If the market goes up substantially, you get lower units of mutual fund. As we expect markets to be volatile, if the market goes down, we will get more units of the mutual fund, which effectively means that if the markets go down, you will get more benefits. So volatile market actually benefits an SIP than a trending upward market. So if we had looked at the returns of an SIP for the last 5 years, because it includes 2020, the returns for an SIP would be very beneficial. Whereas if you look at the returns of a 1-year SIP, it will be pretty low because it is a period where markets have gone up and then come down. So for an SIP to be very attractive, you need a volatile markets, and you need markets where markets go down substantially and then go up. So we are exactly in that phase where the markets are going to be volatile. So it is a market which is very suited for SIPs. SIPs and volatility go together. SIPs and upward trending markets don't go together. So if you had a market which was just going to go up, why do you do SIP? Invest lump sum. So that's how we see it. And we anyway believe right now in volatility. And therefore SIPs and that entire phase of the market which is.
So ICICI Prudential AMC has been pioneer in terms of investment solutions. We have got so many things coming from your side. And one such solution is Freedom SIP. Can you throw some light on that, please?
So, what you do is if people want returns after a period of time. So if you're interested in returns after a 15-year period, so a certain amount of money, you put a SIP, and then you can actually you can take out money after 15 years, a certain sum of money. And of course, it is dependent on the investment returns. If you do it for 10 years, it will be a lower sum of money. And so with this framework, our goal is that since people want cash flows after a certain period of time, because there is an earning period and there is a period where people need to spend at a later point of time, the Freedom SIP becomes a model which allows you to save during your earning years and utilize that saving in your retirement or those kind of periods. So that kind of a solution is what we have looked at in the Freedom SIP. And we think it's a very interesting way to save in the earning years of a person's life.
Great. So one thing after meeting with so many people I realized is that all investors are unique. Advice to first-time investors, especially investors who have joined the market in last 2 years, what kind of product do you recommend for SIP?
See, we always have been recommending large cap, which is category, which is in our fund house, it is ICICI Prudential Blue Chip. Large and mid cap, which is ICICI Prudential Large and Mid Cap. And we have always liked value investing for the long term, which is ICICI Prudential Value Discovery. Each of them have a riskometers and other frameworks. And we think these kind of products are suited from an SIP point of view for the long term SIPs that we've been talking about in this entire conversation.
So is SIP a preferred option over traditional investment products?
I do not know about what you mean by traditional investment products, but we think that SIP is an all-weather product and it is meant for volatile markets. It's a product for everyone, particularly people who are investing in their saving years. There is a compounding benefit out of SIPs. And we believe that as such, equities as an asset class is well suited for beating inflation. And it is a product which gets the benefit of rupee cost averaging, which the benefit of declining markets is benefited by SIPs. And therefore, volatile markets are benefited by SIPs. And that is why we believe that as we approach a volatile market driven by Fed, Indian Central Bank increasing interest rates possibly, and Ukraine-Russia kind of incidents, we think that SIPs become that all-weather tool for most investors in India.
So when it's a all-weather tool, normally people invest in SIP for a fixed amount and then they keep that amount for a longer period of time. So April and May are the period when people get their bonuses, incentives, and other money, which is, I can say, incremental income which comes in their portfolio. Any suggestion from your side that how they should utilize this money by increasing on SIP amount or by lump sum? Any guidance on that side?
I think what you get as a bonus kind of thing should be invested in balanced advantage as a category, or categories like asset allocator, fund of fund kind of categories, which invest in equity, debt, and gold. Those are well suited to invest lump sum money in what you get as bonus kind of situation. And SIPs are well suited to be invested monthly over the period, and there you invest in pure equity funds, because those are the ones which you get the biggest benefit out of volatility. And that's how we think in it. So we always have recommended asset allocation as a lump sum strategy and SIPs in equity funds as a SIP strategy, because the SIP works much better in volatile markets and in equity products. And lump sum works much better in asset allocation products, particularly in volatile markets. If markets become very cheap, it would be advisable at that point of time to consider lump sum in equity products.
So like inflation and every other thing comes in, would you suggest that every year people should have some incremental SIP or increase their investment in the same SIP?
Certainly, we have interesting frameworks like SIP top-up and things like that, and that is the way investors should go forward, because, you know, what you would be investing in an SIP 10 years back, what you would be investing in an SIP 5 years back, and what you should be investing in an SIP today should keep on going up. And that is how we've looked at on the top-up side. And that is the way forward for investment. Of course, one can consider instead additional product to do an SIP as well. That is the other way of considering SIPs for most investors.
Any lesson from history? You have seen a lot of events which came in high volatile. This 2008 came in, Brexit came in, COVID came in, wars keep coming in off and on. So any lesson from history which you would like to share with all our investors?
The biggest lesson from history has been that, you know, people should not stop SIPs at any point of time. And anyone who stopped SIP, let's say in March, April, May 2020, have missed the best months to invest. People who invested in the few months after Lehman failure missed the best months to invest. People who missed investing in SIPs after the World Trade Center bombing missed the best SIPs to have months to invest. So when you do an SIP, you cannot look at market conditions. In fact, it is very important not to be bothered about markets when you do an SIP. The worse the market condition is, the better it is for you to invest that money. And this is the most important learning that we have had based on our learnings from the 18 years that I have spent at ICICI Prudential, watching many investors use SIP as a tool.
So which means good or bad weather, the best thing is keep investing on a monthly basis and take advantage of power of compounding. I think, would it be a right statement?
Yeah, it is an all-weather product and it is not dependent on the weather.
Great. Anything else would you like to suggest in terms of, so we have different age brackets of clients who are maybe sub 30s, clients who are sub 50s, and clients who are around 60. Any particular products which you suggest on mutual fund side or SIP side?
For people who are interested in debt, you know, we have started to be very positive on floating rate funds. And this is for people who are interested in debt. You know, one of the biggest questions people ask us is, what do you do in an increasing interest rate regime. And over a period of time, we've been thinking what to do, and we found that floating rate funds are very interesting in an increasing rate regime. And many people do not know that just like when you take a floating rate loan, interest rate goes up, you have to pay the higher interest rate. This is the reverse. As interest rate goes up, you actually get the benefit of higher interest rates. And in this kind of an environment where globally interest rates are going up every quarter, this is one of the segments which is likely to get the benefit. So if you're an investor in debt, this is a category to consider at this point of time.
Great. So I think all in all, what I can understand is for whatever the age group is, you need to identify a right product, but SIP is the right way to go to compound, to multiply, and to have money which will help you in times to come.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, sir.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wish everyone a happy SIP investing experience over the next few decades. I think people will enjoy that experience as long as they keep investing in all weather conditions in all periods.
Thank you very much, sir.
That was truly vibrant. Gaurav, what did you think?
Yes, it is always interesting listening to the industry expert such as Mr. S. Naren, but what matters is the key takeaways.
Yeah, so what Mr. Naren said was that the interest rates are going up. So it's good for the long-term investors, and hence staying invested is very important for the long run.
Also, in the long run, the power of compounding take effect. And therefore, this will definitely help us in beating the inflation and generating wealth.
Last but not the least, you don't have to think twice before investing in SIP because you don't need to time the market.
Those are the three major takeaways from today's webinar. Over to you, Prayag.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. I would like to thank the speakers, Mr. Navneet Gandhok and Mr. S. Naren, for taking out their valuable time and joining us. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on our social media handles. And a big thank you to all the viewers. Please feel free to give your suggestions in the comment section below. You have a great day ahead, and cheers.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from ICICI Direct.